Welcome to our channel Unbalanced Stories. Today we will be exploring the history and the legends surrounding one of the most fearsome creatures of the sea called the Kraken. The Kraken is the legendary sea monster that has been a part of maritime folklore for centuries. According to the legends, the Kraken is a giant octopus or a squid that dwells deep into the ocean and attacks the ships and the sailor that stray too close to its territories. The first recorded mention of the Kraken comes from the writing of Norwegian historian called Ervik in 18th century. In his book, he describes that Kraken as a creature larger than any known sea creatures, with its arms and branches so far extended that they can enfold a ship of 100 guns and make it sink into the sea. For centuries, sailors have told many tales of encountering the Kraken on their voyages across the ocean, but many of these stories describe the creature as a fearsome and terrifying beast capable of destroying the entire ships and dragging the sailors into their doom. But despite its fearsome reputation, the Kraken is also said to have a more mysterious side. Some of the legend describes it as a guardian of ocean or protector of the sea creatures. But there are also other stories that suggest the Kraken could be appeared or calmed by offering it sacrifices or other offerings. In some cultures, the Kraken is even worshipped as a deity with rituals and ceremonies dedicated to honoring its power and influence over the sea. The legend of Kraken has also inspired many works of art and popular culture, including films, books, and video games. Its appearance in a popular culture has helped to keep the legend of Kraken alive and well known even in the modern times. This is decidedly a Nordic tale, contrary to the supposed rampages of the Kraken around the Greece in 1981 awesome film called Clash of Titans and its recent remake that should have been loaded onto a ship and sunk to the bottom of the ocean while it was still just a script. The Kraken, however, is many beasts in one, a perfectly terrifying amalgamation of worst sea monsters humanity has ever dreamt of. An illustration from Victor's novel Le Trivacus de Lemur shows a man named Gillette was battling a giant octopus in his novel. Perhaps the most detailed description of Kraken comes from the Danish historian Ervik in his Natural History of Norway from 18th century. He notes that the beast is round, flat, and full of arms or branches, and is the largest and most surprising of all animal creations, and he cites various fishermen who unanimously affirms and without the least variation in their accounts. And if you row out several miles in Norwegian Sea in the summer, you are in a serious danger of falling victim to the Kraken. You will know when you start reeling in an incoordinate amount of fishes. It's the Kraken. You see that's carrying them towards the surface. But escaping from its clutches is not possible. Accomplished rowers can hightail it out there. And when they find themselves out of danger, they rise upon their oars, and after a few minutes they see this enormous monster coming up to the surface of the water. Its back is a mile and a half in circumference and looks at first like a number of small islands. This is an echo of another mythical sea creature, the island whale, a beast so huge that sailors mistaken it from the land and anchored to it. Once they built a fire on its back, though it heaps up and drags them all to their dome. Rather, a more fanciful Kraken from Olgus Magus Catamarina, a masterful Scandinavian map from 16th century. For more info, do check out Joseph Nick's Sea Monsters, a voyage around the world's most beguiling map. It was seriously excellent. But the Kraken is far more dexterous in its attack. Erwick describes the emergence of the supposed island in a great detail in his novel, that here and there a larger rising is observed like sandbanks on which various kinds of small fishes are seen continuously leaping about till they roll off into the water from the side of it. At last, several bright spots or the horns appears, which grow thicker and thicker the higher they rise above the surface of the water, and sometimes they stand up as high as and as large as the mast of the middle-sized vessel. These horns are the course of its deterred arms. The crew of Nautilus battle a giant squid in Jules 20,000 League under the sea. The guy is in serious trouble, but someone should really get those birds some medical attention as they look unwell. If the Kraken does not yank you down directly, the whirlpool it forms will finish the task. This is too is an echo of another mythical sea monster called Charybdis of the Odyssey's fame. As the Odysseus sailed through the Strait of Messina between the Sicily and the mainland Italy, he was warned to avoid drowning of whirlpool, that is Charybdis, in favor of taking his chance with Sheila at the opposite coast. And Sheila also finds her way into the Kraken myth, for she too was tentacled and snatching Odysseus' men and eating them alive. The Kraken, though, is happy to make to do just eating the fish. Eric notes that it has been a strong and peculiar scent which it can emit at certain times, by means of which it beguiles and draws the other fish come to heaps up about it, and approximately enough it uses the fish it has devoured to lure even more fish by using its paw as a lure. A great many stories of old fishermen, Eric claims that its evacuation color the surfaces of the water, which appears quite thick and turbid. He explains in rather colorful details. This muddiness is said to be so very agreeable to the smell and or the taste of the fishes, or of the both, that they gather together from all parts of to it and keeps from the purposefully directed over the Kraken. He then opens his arms or horns, seizes and swallows his welcome guest and converts them after a due time by digestion into a pint of or another fishes of same kind. Ha! The circle of life. Armed and ready, these muddied waters are a glaring clue as to the real life inspiration for the Kraken, which is based, as you might have guessed it by this point, on sighting the giant squid which can grow up to 43 feet long. But such a creature is in no way capable of totally mucking up the water around it with a poop, but certainly with a blast of ink. Almost all cephalopods, a family that in addition to squid contains octopus and cuttlefish, will ink in self-defense if say hounded by a fisherman. Some species will quite cleverly also deploy mucus with the ink to create pseudomorphs, a false body that distracts the predators. The inking behavior of giant squid, though along with the pretty much all of its other behaviors, remains mysterious. While they have a long haunted folklore, only a precious few specimens have ever been known to science. But looking at other squid species, we can infer how giant squid species operate. Though no one has seen it first hand, scientists speculate that the giant squid hunts by hanging motionless in water column with the tip of the mantle pointed up and its two long tentacles dangling below. All its another much shorter tentacles are not actually tentacles, they are referred as arms. Here it simply waits for a fish or other squid to meander into the grass pub's section cup, which are lined with tiny teeth. The giant squid then reel its prey to the beak, that is its mouth, and to a pretty horrible death by being slowly picked away mouthful by mouthful. It is this beak that reveals that the giant squid spends its life trying to avoid the sperm whale. The stomach of dead sperm whale can be positively packed with beaks of giant squids, the only bit the whale has hard time to digesting. It is also not uncommon to come across the living sperm whales with circular scars around their mouth, the telltale signs of battles with numerous squid desperately failing their arms and digging into their foes with serrated suckers. There is a squid, though, that makes the giant squid looks downright cuddly. Stalking the waters of Antarctica is a colossal squid. Let's hope that they do not find a even bigger species, because we are kind of running out of adjectives, which, while measuring about the same length as the giant squid, has a far more robust mantle. Oh, and also seveling hooks of its succession cup instead of serrated edges. Seveling hooks. But I hate to disappoint you here that the colossal squid is probably extremely lackadaisical, by one estimate using up to 600 times less energy than similarly sized predator. Like giant squid, it's likely to sit and wait for its prey instead of running behind them. So the legends of Kraken is bit over the top, but it nevertheless serves as an enduring mishmash of myth, borrowing from all manner of European tales. And as we explore more and more of the world's oceans, whether it's Kraken or some other mysterious creature of the deep, the ocean is full of wonder and mystery that we may never fully understand. And that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. If you found this useful, do not forget to like and subscribe our channel Unbalanced Stories for more fascinating content like this. Until then, bye from you all.